In a quiet hospital on the edge of a small town, two elderly men found themselves sharing a room. One bed, occupied by a man named Arthur, was placed beside the only window. The other bed, where a man named Sam lay, faced a plain, blank wall. Both men were in their 60s, both weary from illness, and both adjusting to the slow, quiet rhythm of hospital life. Arthur was recovering from a serious heart condition, while Sam was paralyzed from the waist down after a spinal injury. Though strangers before, the long, quiet days soon forged an unexpected bond between them. Every morning, Arthur would slowly push himself up in his bed to look out the window. The effort left him breathless, but he never missed a day. Once he'd settled, he would begin describing the world outside, his warm voice filling the small room. "It's a beautiful morning," he'd say. "The sun is bright, and the park across the street is already full of life." Sam, who couldn't see anything but the wall, would close his eyes and listen. Arthur would talk about children chasing each other across the grass, a little girl feeding pigeons, and old couples strolling down a path lined with tall green trees. At first, Sam just listened politely, but soon, Arthur's descriptions became the highlight of his day. The hospital hours were long and lonely, filled with pain and uncertainty. But when Arthur started speaking, the dull room seemed to transform. Through his words, Sam could almost feel the park's breeze and hear the children's laughter. It was as if the gray hospital walls melted away, revealing a bright, living world just beyond them. Arthur described everything in vivid detail. Some days it was teenagers playing soccer. Other days, a man walking a huge, fluffy dog, or a young couple sharing a quiet moment on a bench. Sam would ask questions, hungry for more. "What color is the dog?" he'd ask, or "Is the little girl smiling?" And Arthur would answer patiently, painting each scene so clearly that Sam could almost see it himself. Weeks passed like this, and their friendship grew deeper with every shared morning. Sam noticed that Arthur never once complained about his own illness. Even on days when he was clearly exhausted, he still made the effort to sit up and describe the world outside. One morning, after Arthur described children flying colorful kites high above the park, Sam said softly, "You make the world sound so beautiful." Arthur just smiled and replied, "It is beautiful. Sometimes we just forget to look." Those words stayed with Sam. Before his accident, he'd been a busy man, always rushing, rarely stopping to notice the small joys of life. Now, confined to a bed, he was learning to see the world differently through another man's eyes. Arthur's stories gave him hope and color in a world that had turned gray. Then one night, everything changed. Arthur suddenly became very ill. Nurses and doctors rushed into the room, their voices tense as they worked to stabilize his weakening heart. Sam could only lie there, listening helplessly to the sounds of machines and hurried footsteps. After what felt like an eternity, the room fell silent again. The next morning, Arthur's bed by the window was empty. The loss hit Sam hard. The room, once filled with stories and life, felt cold and desolate. The mornings were the worst. Without Arthur's voice, the days felt heavy and long. After several days of silence, Sam finally asked a nurse, "Would it be possible for me to move to the bed by the window?" The nurse kindly agreed and arranged for the switch. With great anticipation, the staff moved Sam to Arthur's old spot. For the first time, he turned his head, eager to finally see the beautiful park that had become his entire world. He expected to see swaying trees, laughing children, and sunny paths. But when Sam looked out the window, he froze. There was no park. There were no trees, no children, no kites. All he could see was a tall, gray brick wall. It stood just feet from the window, blocking out everything. For a long moment, Sam just stared, a wave of confusion and sadness washing over him. When the nurse returned, he asked quietly, "Why would Arthur tell me all those things? Why would he describe a beautiful park when there's only a wall?" The nurse paused, her expression softening. She gently placed a hand on his shoulder. Arthur was blind, she explained softly. He couldn't see a thing outside this window. Sam was stunned into silence. Her words hung in the air, rearranging everything he thought he knew. Then, how did he describe it all? Sam finally managed to ask. The nurse smiled gently. "He wanted to give you something to look forward to," she said. "He knew you were struggling, and he wanted you to have hope. So every morning, he just imagined something beautiful and shared it with you." For a long time, Sam said nothing, letting the incredible truth sink in. Arthur had never seen the park or the children. He had created it all from his imagination, a selfless gift to bring comfort to a friend. Eventually, tears filled Sam's eyes, but through them, he began to smile. "He may not have been able to see the world," Sam whispered to himself, "but he helped me see it again." From that day on, Sam decided that the gray wall outside would not define his world inside. He asked for paints and brushes. Though his hands trembled at first, he slowly began to paint the scenes Arthur had described. He painted green fields under vast blue skies. He painted children laughing in parks and kites soaring in the wind. The plain hospital walls slowly filled with bright images of life and joy. Soon, nurses, patients, and visitors would stop by his room just to look at his paintings. The ordinary space had become a small gallery of hope, and above his bed, Sam wrote a simple sentence for all to see. "Beauty, isn't always what we see. Sometimes it's what we choose to create." And every morning, as the sunlight touched the painted walls, it was as if Arthur's voice was still there, a gentle reminder that even when life gives us nothing but walls, we always have the power to paint our own windows. Thank you for watching English Life Tales. Remember, the world becomes brighter when you choose to see its beauty. Please like and subscribe for more stories.